click record. All right. Do we have any new faces here? I don't come to every one of these, so I'm not really sure I know who's a new face and who's not. If you haven't been to one of these meetings, please feel free to shout yourself out at this moment.
Hello, hi. This is my first one of these. I'm David. I'm new to the Buildpacks team, the Java sub-team specifically. I'm working with Dan Makusa. So, hi, everyone.
Awesome, welcome. All right, normally at the top here, we'll review some of these RFCs. Starting from the bottom, let me share my screen. Okay. We still have this outstanding Python Buildpack promotion RFC. This is chugging along. Nothing to report here. Arjun, no? Okay.
Still work in progress.
Awesome. Add RFC to retire JVM kill agents. This is opened by Dan. I don't think he's here.
He's not able to join now, but he wanted me to mention if anyone had anything to add to this or any questions on it. It's been approved and it's going to be partially implemented soon. It's holding up Tiny support. We need to remove the kill agent before we can support that. So if anyone has anything to add, you can take a look at their readable version there.
Cool. Next up, we've got Node.js installation Buildpacks bomb.
I think this has been fully approved. The only thing that needs to be left is merged. Figured we would just wait, make sure that there's nothing else. Arjun, we good to merge?
I see that Emily has left a few comments.
Oh, has she?
Have I?
Emily. Okay. We'll take a look at these. This is something that was thinking about, but wanted to kick down the road. But we'll take a quick look at these and see what we can come up with. So I guess it is still open.
Cool.
Sniped us out.
Next up, we've got proposal to add support for Rust Up. It's another one from Dan.
I can give a quick blurb on this. I'm not nearly as brushed up as Dan is, but essentially Rust Up is the recommended tool for installing Rust. And with that, you get some advantages pretty much exclusive to Rust Up. So you get like the ability to have nightlies and that sort of thing. And so I think that this is a proposal for us to switch to using Rust Up as the primary way of installing Rust, as opposed to having a Rust binary that or like a compiled Rust release that we then inject. And with that, however, we will be keeping the Rust dist build pack. So individuals that want a stable form of Rust that's guaranteed to be able to work offline will continue to be able to use Rust dist. But individuals that want to have, bleeding edge Rust, or Rust the way Rust was meant to be installed, I guess, they would be able to use Rust Up.
Cool.
So if y'all have any opinions on that, please do take a look.
All right. Next up, merge Java feature flag build packs. I haven't had a chance to read through this one.
Yeah, this one might also be more relevant to the Java subteam, but the plan is to move a few pieces of functionality into libjvm because they can be supported by JVM flags rather than creating build packs for them. And Yeah, if there's anything to add to this as well, just take a look. Or if there's any questions now, let me know.
Oh, good. We're going to archive the debug build pack. It's always kind of bothered me that that squats on a very generic name, but is like very specific to Java. Anyway, fantastic. Sounds great. This last one here, add RC for closure tools build pack. This one I also have not read. It doesn't look like the person that opened this is here. Maybe Dan Makuza has some better background on this, but he's also not here.
I think, yeah, I discussed this with Dan. I think this contributor has contributed build packs before, so it's just a matter of taking a look at it and making sure it's okay. Dan did have a quick look, and it seems good. But we just might make sure it's ready to go.
Cool. And with that, that is the end of the open RCs. Next up in the list, we have build pack list builders repos. Forest.
Yeah, so this morning I merged in an RFC to do build pack list builders repos. And as part of that, we're making separate build pack list builders repos for each stack that we support. So I was about to just message you, Ryan, and ask you to create those repositories for me, but then I realized that that's like a thing that I know to do. And with sort of the ability of sort of sub maintainers to approve new build packs and want to be able to create repositories, I figured that I might kick the tires on a potentially some sort of form or forum where you can go and ask for new repositories. Maybe that's just make an issue. I guess really what I want to know is, how do I do this so that it's not me sending you a Slack message asking you to make a repository for me?
I think anyone that's an organization member, which if you're a contributor or a maintainer, you should be an org member in either one of the orgs that you have those permission structures for. I think the only thing that I would care about is like eventually the like manage access settings are set up correctly so that like the maintainers and contributors for the correct team are allocated to have the correct permissions for the repository and like nobody else. And that we don't ever have cases where we have like individual accounts with like permission settings. So like you should only ever belong to a team. That's how you gain permissions to stuff. I'm perfectly happy to like go and check those things. If you just tell me you made a repo, I probably also would get an email about it. So it's not necessarily like a requirement of the task, but I'm perfectly happy to let people create repos themselves if you can. Save me some administrative burden for sure.
Sure thing. I just didn't know if there was a procedure, so I figured I'd ask. That's the only thing I have on that. Okay.
Then next up is the Paketo project spec discussion, also Forest.
Yeah, I started, will be quick. I started a discussion about potentially having a Paketo project specification. I think recently we've approved a couple of RFCs that would make sense to be a part of a specification, such as the Semver RFC, Sophie and I's bill of material RFC, like just a place for us to collect project-wide decisions and standards that we're trying to meet. So if y'all want to pitch in your support / have any ideas of what else would go in a specification, you can check that out. I will actually go in right now and link that on this as a hyperlink so that y'all can check out that discussion thread. That's it. Just wanted to call it to everyone's attention.
Sounds great. All right, last thing on the formal agenda here, Node run script build pack is up and fully functional. Looks like Amelia is going to give us all a demo. I can stop sharing my screen and you can take control.
Yeah, it's me and Wynn prepared a little something just to show off the build pack and sort of get people familiar with like how it works and stuff. You want to take the lead on?
Oh yeah, okay. I'll start with a brief introduction. Hey everyone, as me and Amelia's internships are wrapping up, we wanted to do a quick demo to showcase what I would say was the highlight of internship, Buildpacks Buildpack. Sorry, just a heads up, I'm feeling a bit under the weather, so it might be a bit hard to understand. Feel free to like ask me to repeat myself if anything's unclear. Just before we jump into the demo though, I wanted to give a bit context on why we were given this project and the benefits this build pack brings. So before we had this node run script build pack, as the name implies, users weren't really able to run node scripts. This was especially important for front-end web app frameworks such as React, Angular, Vue, etc. that require a build command to compile the source code into a static production-ready output. There's a workaround, which would be to include in the pre-install or post-install scripts in the JSON. However, this is not preferable since it requires anyone using the Node.js build pack who needs extra scripts to run to append it to the install scripts, even if it's not relevant to the installation. And also users would be modifying their source code to fit the build pack limitation, which they might not be too happy about. So now that I've covered why the node run script build pack would be useful, some use cases where users would benefit from our build pack include if you are a developer who wants to build static assets along with the build pack procedure, or if you are a developer who wants to run any arbitrary scripts before it gets packaged into an image. If either of these use cases sound relatable, check out the node run script build pack. As mentioned earlier, we have a little demo. Our demo includes a Yarn React app based on Node.js, and the built output is served by Nginx. And with that, I'll pass it over to Amelia.
Yeah, so if you can see my screen, we have a small little React app. It has some React syntaxes here, and that's sort of where the core of the app is made. And then after we build the app, we serve it through Nginx. So we're going to be using both the Node.js build pack and the Nginx build pack to get it running. I think the first thing to show off would just be showing the build pack actually existing. So like if we go existing in the builder, so if we go pack builder inspect, we can see under group 3, Node.js has the node run script build pack between yarn install and yarn start, as well as between npm install and npm start. So this build pack can sort of like mold depending on whether you're using yarn or npm. With that, we can go ahead and run the pack command now. So, excuse me, sorry. Oh, for some reason the copy pasting isn't working. That's so odd. All right, well, we can try here. So yeah, there you go. So we're going to be building an image called sample. We're using the Node.js build pack, Nginx build pack, and there's this special environment variable that you add to the end called BP node run scripts. This basically looks at any scripts inside your package JSON. So here, for example, and it'll go ahead and run these scripts during build time when this build pack gets called. So right now we just have it set to build, but you could also like have some other arbitrary scripts if you wanted to, and just like add it to the end of this script thing, and it'll just run them all in order. So we can go ahead and run this now. We already actually created like a pre-built image of this just to save on time. And we can see it if we docker image ls. You can see it right up here, the sample pre-built right here. So let's go ahead and run this image via Docker. And let's check out the site. So if we go to localhost 8080, which is the port that it's running on. You can see now everything works good. And if we were to inspect element and check out the source, we can see that this file system includes like only this, it includes the static assets that were created automatically when running the build pack and having that script get run. I suppose we can also go ahead and check out the actual container that's running right now. So we can docker container list, check to see the hash, copy that, and then docker exec -it with that hash, and we'll run it on bash. And if we look inside here, we can see that in our workspace, we have our build folder right here, which is the folder that gets generated when you run that build command. And so with that, yeah, it works really great. It was a lot of fun making it. I guess a note to make too actually is that when we were making this build pack, we kind of realized that the node, I guess for reference, there's a requirement for Node.js that you can add called node modules, and it sort of keeps the node modules folder when you're like making the build pack, which is good in some cases because a lot of these web app frameworks like React or Vue use their own like little custom CLI that's installed through the node modules in order to actually build and stuff. But in cases that like you don't actually want that node modules to stay, like for example, if you were just like running some like arbitrary scripts that were unrelated to any of those node module things, there's kind of a problem there because then you just have it's a little bit bloated. There's a way to go about resolving that, and that'd be to use force source removal build pack. So you could go ahead and like retroactively, or not retroactively, but like after the fact, go and get rid of those folders that you don't need. And I can link it in here if y'all are interested into looking into that as well. But yeah, that's about it. If anyone has questions, you can ask now.
That was really awesome. Thank you for the demo.
No problem.
I think in addition to Forest source removal build pack, one of the things we're planning to do in the long term is introduce a web servers build pack where the concept of these kind of like front end applications is more kind of first class, because the entirety of the Node.js build pack was built from a perspective of like you're serving an app that is a Node server application, right? So you need Node modules and all of that kind of stuff installed. So I think in the long run, instead, what we're going to have is one that is, you know, the framework and stuff you're using is a Node framework, but you're going to be focusing on a front end. In that case, you should hopefully end up with a container that just has like, you know, your actual web server like Nginx or HTTPD, and then your built artifacts, so like the actual static files that server is going to serve, but that you wouldn't have node modules or any of that kind of stuff, because those things are just build dependencies in that case. But that's a little ways down the road. All right. I think with that, we can take a look again at the agenda. If anyone has added anything last minute, it doesn't look like it. I'll pause here to see if anyone remembers anything at the last minute that they wanted to bring up in this meeting. It doesn't sound like it. All right, so with that, thank you all for attending, and we'll see you next week. Bye.